Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today has been a Tuesday, but it's New Truth Tuesday, and my sweet friend Amy Fulmer is here to back me up. It was crazy sock day today at homeschool co-op, so I have my ice cream socks on. Proof of pants. Wait, you can't even see them. I don't know which way my camera is. I'll try to show you later. We've got lots of information we will share with you on this wonderful Pluto return. I hope things are happening. It's been a crazy day here at our house. So be right back with Amy Fulmer, the Grief Goddess. Give us a like, share this video, see what we've got going on. Hi there, Amy. Thank you for joining us. My goodness, thanks for waiting for me patiently on my crazy Tuesday.
Listen, Lisa, we're living in such bizarro land.
Oh, for
My
sure.
days, they just kind of blend into, they just go. I don't know what date it is, although today is a very special day. It's special for a couple of reasons, but one of them is because it's your mom's birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Nana, my sweet mom. It's her birthday today. We sent flowers to her. That was so sweet. Charlie called and he was like, okay. And we always try to support local. So of course we called, a local florist there in Mom's town, and the lady remembered Charlie from last year ordering her
Oh,
her
nice.
birthday flowers. And she was
Aw.
so impressed. She's like, oh yeah, we remember delivering these last year. And Charlie goes, okay, well, so if you appreciate that we try to always shop local, that's important to us. And if you have any chicken stuff around there, so they had this little chalkboard, like hanging chicken thing with, I don't
Yeah,
know, a little rooster on it or something. And that meant a lot to Nana. So it was sweet. They put a little
nice.
extra something with it. But that's the kind of thing, like you care enough about somebody local, you give back to local businesses and they do something extra for you. And it makes it that personal thing. That's what community is about. We build each other up. We, support each other, and then we're stronger together. So it was really sweet.
Yeah, and now more than ever.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you so much.
Yeah, happy birthday, Nana. And, one thing I read a while back, and it said something to the effect of that most people get to be young, but not everybody gets to be old. And I don't mean that Nana's old, I'm saying just older. And Lisa, being two angel moms, losing our children young, it really hit me hard when I heard that statement. So to me, I think that, your birthdays as you quote unquote get older are such gifts, because if you think about it, not everybody does get to live to be older. They don't get
Well,
that
and my
privilege.
mom has had that experience. She lost my sister when she
Right.
was only 41.
Right.
But then she also got to see the beautiful gift of watching my dad turn 90. So my
Right.
mom has got to see this beautiful experience of life. The tragedy of losing a child
Yes.
unexpectedly so young, but also seeing my dad live this amazing full life to
Right.
the point where when he left, we had such a different experience.
Mhm.
I had only ever experienced death as a tragedy. Like I said, losing my sister at 41 and then my
Right.
baby at 7.
Right.
And so my personal experience of watching my dad leave with all my siblings in their room and my mom, my gosh, watching my dad love my mom like that. It was so sweet. At the end, that's all he wanted was her,
Right.
you know. And so,
That's such a beautiful gift,
oh, it was so sweet. Yeah. So she's really got to live and see that whole full experience. So she's a really very special woman, very blessed. I'm very blessed to have her in my life.
Right.
My best
Well,
friend is my mother.
and also she's an angel grandmother as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's a lot for any human to have to go through, to lose children, grandchildren, and now her partner, life husband. And these are the experiences that make our life so rich, because one of the things I remember the most of my son, so much communication from the other side, but one of the things he told me is, he said to me, this was shortly after he left. He said, Mom, he goes, you don't have to worry about the stuff, like you're like a person that worries about stuff. Like, is my house clean? And is this, all this stuff, right? And he said, because when I left, he said, the only thing I took with me was our love.
Oh, that's sweet.
He goes, that's the only thing that could come with me, because he was trying to explain to me the way the energy worked. And oh, by the way, people, this was not what we were supposed to talk about. So this is all completely impromptu. But what he was trying to explain to me, that when the soul leaves the body, it's a very energetic experience. And he said that it was kind of shocking to him that all the stuff, he was a teenager when he passed, his phone and his friends and his clothes and, his stuff. He said none of that mattered at all. And he said, because really the only thing that I was able to carry with me was our love, because that was the energy that I guess stays with souls. And I thought that was such a beautiful way to say it, because all of us, we do have a tendency to get caught up in our lives and our accoutrements and our stuff. And for souls, when they pass, that's the least thing, but it's the love. It's the love that they take with them. So with all of us right now who are going through our grieving in our own ways in our country, and we're fighting for different causes and we're fighting for our rights, at the end of the day, when we can bring it all back, just bring it simple. It's the friends that we meet on this journey, our love for our country, our love for one another. Lisa and I share a bond together. We're all sharing a bond. Right now, I feel not that I'm Canadian, but watching what the truckers are going through, it's my heart feels so bonded to that, because their love for their freedom, right?
Yeah.
And it's bringing up this vibration of love it's kind of in our faces right now. And I think that's what we need.
Yeah, that's what so Soul Rita had me on her show, and we were talking about the patriotism. She was saying she admired my patriotism, and I said, it's funny because I was ranting on Jean-Claude's channel, and I was in all high caps. When you get excited in the live chat, you guys in the live chat, when you get fired up and you turn on the caps lock,
Yeah.
and you get in a rant, and Uncle Cliff came swooping down. He's like, Lisa, and he gave me a little swat on my hand.
Oh, we did.
So yeah, I got put in timeout by Uncle Cliff, but then he gave me a loving reminder, and then let me out, and then he gave me a hug and told me, that I was okay. But then his loving reminder was, yeah, isn't it beautiful to see, like, all of us kind of being bound by this idea of patriotism, but almost like patriotism is now a global idea. It's not an American thing anymore.
Right.
Patriotism has taken on a new identity. Patriotism is it's a global thing. It's like a constitutional thing, which if you go back to the Constitution of America, the Constitution of Canada, all of them were founded or were written based on the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta was written based on our God-given rights. So we are going back to, and I won't say biblical, but universe, God-given rights. We're being reminded of who we are in God.
Right.
Like, this is spiritual warfare kind of stuff, but in a most empowering way.
Right.
So I don't know, it's pretty incredible to me when you go and take it all the way back to its origin. So patriotism is an awakening of who we are in Christ or who we are in God.
Right. Right. And what a fight we are in. Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
of course it is. Yeah.
I mean, it is real. And I was thinking today, you know, I've got some great topics, but I'm so sad, you guys, because I can't really, the stuff I want to talk about, I can't, I can't. I
But
just
soon,
but
we're
soon.
getting, yeah, I'm on the waiting list still, even though I signed up for Truth Social a long time ago. And so I kind of thought I would have already been approved, but then I had to kind of re-up.
Right.
And then I was at homeschool all day and then had a little crisis in the household today. But it was a battle that needed to be waged. And I think we're moving forward. And so I'm hoping to have that avenue open, and hopefully they have live streaming, and then hopefully we can be speaking more truth here on New Truth Tuesday soon.
Right, right. And we're going to have to kind of walk through that, Lisa, very, very gingerly, in the sense that if you look at in Canada right now, if you donate to the truckers, they'll freeze your bank accounts. And we're going to kind of go there. We're going to kind of go there. But what we're learning is we have to navigate this really smartly. We have to choose our battles, because now we're involving cryptocurrencies. Yes, Tom. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's a great point. It is a movie, and we chose to come here. And that's the one thing that I always remember when I get discouraged or I get down. I realize me, all of us, we chose to be here right now, and we have to expose. We have to expose what's going on, and it's painful to watch, but it's part of the process. Without this process, no one's going to know what's going on. So, one of the things I wanted to start with, Lisa, and we're just going to hit snippets on stuff today, you guys. We're going to hit little snippets. And I like to do this because it kind of builds a story, in the sense that we've got a lot of normies out there. And here's my problem with the normies. When we're in the thick of it and we need to make educated decisions, if you're a normie, you're not going to know what you're dealing with, and you're not going to know how to react, because you're only reacting on what you've been told through the mainstream media or your family or the narrative. The narratives are all lies. None of us really know what's going on. But if you come back to, Lisa, what you were just saying about the Magna Carta and your God-given rights,
Mm-hmm.
that's the truth. We came here to be free. And
Yeah.
our founding fathers knew this day would come. And oh, by the way, this is a very important year. And I'm not an astrologer by any stretch. There's people who do that much better than I. But I do have to mention this Pluto thing. And Lisa, you probably know this, or the Public Awakening might know this. And I know Janine talked about this on Jean-Claude's show. This year marks the first time since the July 4th of the signing of our Constitution that Pluto comes back around 256 years, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it crosses over Capricorn. And those are the two energies of finances, power and control, truth. I find it very interesting that this is the year, this is the first time since our Constitution was signed on July 4th, 256 years ago, 1776, that we've got these energies coming back in again.
Yeah, Rice TVX did a great video on that. If you guys are looking for a Pluto Return video, there's lots out there right now. Kind of everybody's talking about it. We've been talking about it. I've posted multiple articles about it. Public and I have talked about it. Kind of everybody's been talking about it, about the Pluto return for the financial specifically.
Mhm.
And it all goes back to 1776 for the United States of America. And
I love
so,
it. I
yeah,
love it.
it's
And
really,
by the way, when these synchronicities appear, they're never random. There's no random synchronicities, especially when you start dealing with numbers. Um, no, anytime you've got math and numbers involved, there's no coincidences. Um, so what I wanted to start with, Lisa, this was a very small thing, but this supports my little journey today about how this narrative is being infused into every aspect of our lives. And I caught something. I caught some information about Social Security. Now, most of you guys might be a little young for that, but you might have a grandmother or aunt or someone who's on Social Security, or you might think that you're going to get Social Security. But I came across this and then I researched it and I found out that it will be actually true. Now, this is part of this infusing the big government narrative. And this says the Social Security check is now or will soon be referred to as a federal benefit payment.
interesting.
Now, I grew up with my grandmother, so they called it Social Security, Social Security. And then when you're an employee and you get your paycheck, you pay into that every time you are paid as an employee. And what I thought this person posted on Twitter was so astute. It says, I am forwarding it because it touches a nerve in me and I hope it will in you. Please keep passing it on until everyone in our country has read it. The government, now this is the truth bomb, the government is now referring to our Social Security checks as federal benefit payment. This isn't a benefit. It is our money paid out of our earned income. Not only did we contribute to Social Security, but our employers did too. It totaled 15% of our income before taxes. Now, this is the beginning of this whole narrative of what creates the normies, thinking that big government is going to save us. It's stuff like this that all of a sudden, when you're a younger person and now you're going to get your federal benefit payment and it comes every month, and suddenly you're thinking the government is doing you a favor. And they're not doing you a favor. This is this insidious lies and manipulation that's so dangerous. And it's quite insulting. It's insulting to anyone that's paid into Social Security and knows that this is my money.
So JDO has a comment and says, but it's a benefit payment once we have taken more than we and our employers have put in, question mark. Oh, is it a benefit payment once we and our employers have taken more
I
than
don't
we
know
put in?
anybody who's exceeded. In other words, if you made a lot of money, let's just say you had huge income over your working years. This is how I understand it. You will never, as I understand it, okay, I could be wrong, but you paid in so much, they dole it out in such small amounts that
The individual, but as a whole, I had always heard that Social Security was broke
yes.
and that so they are broke, so they're paying out something they don't have.
Well, they never have anything anyway because they just create fiat out of thin air. They create the
Well,
debt.
that's very true.
So there's
Yeah.
nothing backing it anyway. There is no, unless we go back to, and I found out a fun fact, Lisa, I've got to share this with you. Okay. We made gold and silver illegal to own in 1933. Okay. It stayed illegal for the average American, for any American to own until 1971 when Gerald Ford,
Right.
I was just going through my stuff the other day and came across this. He was the one that signed into office in 71 that it was now legal for Americans to possess gold and silver. So we have Gerald Ford to thank for the fact that we can now legally hold gold and silver now.
Interesting.
Okay. That's a good thing. Because that law is still on the books. So if they want to come for your gold and silver, can't do it. So what I did was I looked up to see if this was true, Lisa, about this Social Security being is this like a real thing? So if you go to the second slide, and this is from the SSA.gov website, it is right here. It says get all your federal benefit payments in one account using direct payment. This is the SSI website. This is where you sign up for Social Security. And if you, here we go. Get all your federal benefit payments in one account using direct payment. So you can get direct deposit for your SSI, but they're calling it federal benefit payment. It's not a benefit, you guys. You paid into it.
So here's another very weird thing just to bring up. I have a friend who lost her husband. Gosh, it was, I think, a year before we lost Mia. So 5 years ago. And she received a letter, and then she called, and they're telling her she gets widow's benefits, and that it hasn't kicked in yet, and that she'll get a portion of her deceased husband's benefits.
Sure.
Which has never been a thing before, I guess. And now my father's passed. My mom's down to just her Social Security and trying to figure out, like, well, how am I going to make, my my situation. And it doesn't make sense because, like you said, this is money you paid in.
Right.
So why is it that you passed away and then that money doesn't go back to your spouse because you passed away? It should go to your spouse. It's money you paid in,
I agree. And I don't know, Lisa, the technicality on that, but technically, as I understand it, when you're married legally, you're one financial entity together.
You should be. Yeah.
You should be.
But in the past, when you passed away, those benefits stopped for people.
Right. So
that's been like,
there'd have to be, accountants know about this and the laws. It's out of my wheelhouse. I'm not qualified to speak about that, but I'm sure the SSI also probably has a lot of those question and answers on their website. This portion here concerns me. This is a small little thing, but this is all part of this narrative of teaching and indoctrinating people that the government's going to take care of you. This is
where they haven't paid in, you're saying?
Well, Social Security, you always paid in. This is not a government benefit. This is your money being paid back to you after being held captive. I would have rather had my own money not paid into Social Security because I could have invested it and done better.
And then you choose to do.
Yes.
You make the choices.
I make the choices. So this was never a benefit. And quite frankly, any benefit.
Oh my gosh, this is the Britney Spears thing. This is why they're having Britney speak in Congress. I was like, why in the heck is the Britney Spears such an issue? Why are they having Britney speak in Congress? I couldn't figure it out. But Britney was, what did they call it? What was the whole issue?
Custody. Her father had custody of her. Adult custody or something.
Yeah, but what
there's a name for it. There's a term for it. Right.
You guys in the chat, help us out. What was
jurisdiction over her finances and all that kind of stuff. Right.
But basically, our government has had jurisdiction over our finances. That's what this is bringing up. That's what's being brought to our attention. We've all been your slave.
Yes.
Brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a little Britney on you.
I like it.
That's why Britney's being brought to Congress, to bring to our attention that we've been a slave of our government, the same way Britney's daddy made her a slave to him.
Yeah, a ward of the court.
A ward of the court.
Yeah.
We have been a ward of the court to our government.
Well,
oh my Lord.
And Lisa, one step further, not just the government, the central
conservatorship. Thank you, warrior.
Yeah, conservator. That's it. But also the federal. Don't forget the Federal Reserve and the central banks.
Right. Well, they're all in cahoots.
They're all printing money. And so anything that we get, you're paying for anyway. And now we're paying for it through inflation. So
Right. The tax is just a hidden tax
it's a
through
total,
inflation. Right.
total hidden tax. So this is just one little example. Now we're going to take a little skip over here. You guys might have seen this, but this was brilliant. I had to throw this in. This is kind of coming out of nowhere. This has to do with the seizing of the crypto. Well, let me back up. In Canada, under this Emergency Act, they want to seize people's crypto wallets. So this just shows you how little people know about cryptocurrencies. And when I saw this, I read it like 3 times. I couldn't believe it. So in Ontario, Canada, and if you want to open this was a tweet by Anthony Pompliano. The Ontario Superior Court of Justice asked the self-custody wallet provider, Nunchuck, to disclose user information so they could freeze the user's Bitcoin. Okay? Now, this is brilliant. This is so brilliant. This is the company's response to the Superior Court in Canada. Here we go. This just shows you how our government, and it's going to be no different here in America, very few people understand how cryptocurrency works and how custody works. I am not talking about keeping your coins on an exchange where you've done KYC. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about a hardware wallet where you hold your private keys. Dear the Ontario Superior Court of Justice, this is the best letter I've read in years. Nunchuck is a self-custody, collaborative, multi-sig Bitcoin wallet. We are a software provider, not a custodial financial intermediary. Our software is free to use. It allows people to eliminate single points of failure and store Bitcoin in the safest way possible while preserving privacy. We do not collect any user identification information beyond email addresses. We also do not hold any keys. Therefore, are you ready for this? We cannot freeze our users' accounts. Boom. 2,
It's not in our capability.
we cannot prevent them from being moved. Boom. We do not have knowledge of the existence, nature, value, and location of our users' assets. This is by design. Full transparency, no games, nothing. Now, this is the best part. Please look up how self-custody and private keys work.
DYOR.
Exactly. When the Canadian dollar becomes worthless, we will be here to serve you too. The Nunchuck team. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
If there was ever a cause for decentralization and holding your crypto, holding your private keys,
Mm-hmm.
I love this letter. This company isn't playing games. They're addressing the court in a respectful way, but this just shows.
Mostly. It's a little sassy, but
I love it. I think it's fabulous. And you know what? They're right. It takes just a simple YouTube, Google. How dare the court not do their homework before they go to this decentralized software company?
but that's how little they know.
I know.
They don't know. They're used to doing their cease and desist letters. They're used to doing their, I'm telling you to freeze this. I'm telling you to do that. And they don't know what they don't know.
They don't. And do you think it's any difference here in the United States? We have a few senators, and yes, there are some younger, but for the most part.
But this is where the game will change. And that's what I'm learning so much with being on the very Dow is that although, like in this case, so they threw the ball that way and Nunchuck goes, we don't have that capability. There are still the laws and the lawyers and the games, and there are still the corporations and the contracts and the deals. And
Right.
so the game is still there and the money and the power is still there. It's just that the ball is going to be thrown a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's going to happen is the power will shift the ball, or the game will change because of the power shifting. And so
Right.
what's going to happen is they're going to go, okay, so then it's going to be a hot potato thing. So
Yes.
who has the
Yeah.
ball then?
Exactly,
Okay,
Lisa.
so Nunchuck doesn't have the ball, then who has the ball?
Right.
That's what's going to happen, is they're
Well,
going to
if
find
we're
out
in,
really quick then who has the power and who
okay,
has the ball. And
this,
that's what's going to change this game.
this is true. What you're saying, it's already happening, because I got an email
Yeah.
from BlockFi this week. And
Which they
oh my
did a
God.
whole deal with, SEC,
And they want now KYC. You
of
can't
course they
add
do.
that. You can't add any
But
more.
look what happened last week with them. So there was a fine/payoff of over, was it $10 million, $100 million? I can't remember what the number was. There was some kind of fine they paid. And then literally the next day, there was an exclusive between them for, what was it? Something.
Right.
I mean, follow the money, people. Watch the deals play out.
Well, and the reason why I was bringing this up is because this whole situation in Canada right now it's so huge, you guys. It's so big. And what's also interesting is that Australia and Canada are British protectorates. They're under the control of the Crown. I find it awfully interesting. The two countries that have been taken over are British protectorates. I'm just saying.
Okay, say that again. The new.
Okay, so Australia
Mm-hmm.
and Canada are currently under control of the Crown. They're British
Right.
protectorates. I find it awfully interesting and by the way, this is all a plan. We're going to get to this in a minute. We're going to get to the plan in a minute. This is all by design. The two countries that they're going after first to make the example, to show what they're ultimately building up to take over America, Latin America. I mean, they want to globalize everything. And we're going to get to that in a minute, because I've got the evidence to show you this. The first countries they go after to make an example of are British protectorates. Who controls the British protectorates? The Queen.
Mm-hmm.
We know what she's about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Easy prey. Easy prey.
Little people.
Because exactly, Lisa. And they don't have any Second Amendments.
Yeah.
So they pick the low-hanging fruit first.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, this is now total gossip. And this came from, I don't know if I can say this, but this came from, actually, I was watching Jason at 4 with Jean-Claude and some other people. This woman that may be stepping in for Justin Trudeau, I forget her name.
Yeah, the Prime Minister of Finance or whatever.
Yes.
From the WEF. And her
She,
grandfather is a former Nazi, whatever.
they think that she's a great-granddaughter of Hitler.
Well, I know her grandfather is former Nazi. I can't remember what his exact position was, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the bloodlines are all there. They're all there.
Mhm.
They're all there. So the narrative is now being pushed in very quickly. Now, here's the deal, you guys. Once you know it's a narrative and you see the tactics, it's kind of like in The Wizard of Oz when Toto pulled back the curtain. It becomes a lot less scary, because it's like when you're playing chess, if you kind of know what your opponent's thinking, it makes it a lot easier to navigate, because we have one. I do believe that. But I will say this, and I've said this, Lisa, since for a long time, I think we have a lot more to go through. I think we have some pretty dark days in front of us. But while things are clearing out, we're going to start to see little battles being won across the board.
Have you seen the article I shared with my Patreon? I shared it on Jean-Claude. I sent it to Jean-Claude and Snippy the other night while they were live, after I sent it to my Patreon, of course. But let's see. There was a huge leak on Credit Suisse. Let me see. Published. I mean, this was huge. Vatican, human trafficking. It unmasked. Let's see. How do I show this? I think I have to copy. I think I have to throw it into this other window. Hold on one sec. I think you'll love this. This will make Amy's day. Hold on. So this is Credit Suisse, like unmasked criminals, fraudsters, and corrupt politicians. Massive leak reveals secret owners of over 80 billion held in Swiss banks. Whistleblower leaks data to expose immoral secrecy laws. Clients include human traffickers, billionaire who orders girlfriend's murder, Vatican-owned accounts used to spend 350 million, I guess that's pounds, I don't know what that symbol is, an allegedly fraudulent investment scandal hits Credit Suisse, reject allegations, maybe in rogue banks. And
rogue banks. You mean their bank?
Their bank, yeah.
Yeah, and they're calling it a rogue bank.
Yeah. So it says a massive leak from the world's biggest private banks, Credit Suisse, has exposed the hidden wealth of clients involved in a torture, drug trafficking, money laundering, corruption, and other serious crimes. Details of accounts linked to 30,000 Credit Suisse clients. 30,000 clients.
Serious?
All over the world are contained in the link, which unmasks the beneficiaries of more than 100 billion Swiss. Let's see.
Oh, but wait a minute, Lisa. I thought it was Bitcoin that was used for this.
Oh, no, my love. Held in one of Switzerland's best known financial institutions. The leak points to widespread failures of due diligence by Credit Suisse, despite repeated pledges over decades to weed out dubious clients and illicit funds. The Guardian is part of a consortium of media outlets given exclusive access to the data. We can reveal how Credit Suisse repeatedly either opened or maintained bank accounts for a panoramic array of high-risk clients across the world. They include human trafficker in the Philippines, a Hong Kong stock exchange boss for bribery, jailed for bribery, a billionaire who ordered the murder of his Lebanese pop star girlfriend, and executives who looted the Venezuela state oil company, as well as corrupt politicians from Egypt to Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine, you don't say.
Yeah, right.
One Vatican-owned account in the data was used to spend 350 million, whatever this is, which is that pounds or lira? I don't know what the L.
Is it Swiss franc? It might be Swiss franc.
I don't know those symbols. I'm sorry. In allegedly fraudulent investment in London property that's at the center of ongoing criminal trial of several defendants. I wonder what ongoing trial that could be. Might involve human trafficking.
Oh, gee.
Maxwell.
Yeah, exactly.
Including a cardinal.
Right.
A huge trove of banking data was leaked by an anonymous whistleblower to the German newspaper, whatever that word is. I believe the Swiss banking secrecy laws are immoral. The whistleblower source says in the statement, a pretext of protecting financial privacy is merely a fig leaf covering a shameful role of Swiss banks as collaborators of tax evaders. Funny how they use a biblical reference there.
Right.
Anyway, they go on and on and on and on. But
Well,
talking
I
about
want names. I want names. I mean, why don't
Yeah.
we have names? You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think names are in order. I think we need to start seeing names, Lisa. But what I want to kind of give people, and I know your audience is very, very aware of this, crypto is going to be starting to come front and center. And it's going to be very, very interesting to watch this play out, because I believe that being able to control your private keys is going to be absolutely essential moving forward, because I do think that what's coming to America, my opinion, I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. You take $20 and donate to a cause that they don't like. I mean, you can donate to BLM. They love that. But you donate to the truckers and they don't approve of that, they're going to swoop in
Well, Amy, I think that goes back to this summary of terrorism threat to the U.S. homeland that was posted on February 7th. The United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories and other forms of misleading or malinformation.
Right.
And so if you're considered giving misleading or malinformation, and I think you and I went over this before.
Yeah, we did. We absolutely did. Because
so if you're considered being part of that, then you would be considered
a terrorist,
a domestic
and
terrorist.
Does that make it legal for them to seize your money? This is
possibly, and they've, how they're responding. They have launched this new FBI branch. They have, the DHS people. Now we're seeing, like you said, the things in Canada.
And, oh, by the way, guys, quite frankly, I do not believe that what we're seeing is Canadian police. I think a big portion of what we're seeing, this is just my opinion on the ground there, is implants. There are some Canadian,
I've heard a lot of people saying that
I
they
believe that. Right. And this is compliments of the globalists. They are making sure that what is being telegraphed to the normies is that, oh my God, these right-wing fringe tinfoil hat. I was speaking to a normie, and they said that this very smart person who's a very good friend of mine, but she's a normie, she's very against the truckers because what they're doing is not right. They're hurting the people. Oh, no,
in what way?
Because they're not delivering the stuff. And they should be getting vaccinated because it's the right thing to do to keep people safe.
How are they not delivering the stuff? And truckers sit in a truck by themselves.
Well, I mean, the fact that they're not driving now, and so because
they are driving, they're driving across the country.
Well, the ones in Canada, we're talking about the Canadian truckers. Okay. So this is the mindset of the normies. This is the mindset. This is a dangerous mindset. This is why we have to keep talking.
Okay, but I have to tell you that is BS because, okay, the fact that Truth Social was the #1 downloaded app,
right,
on the Apple Store,
I love
and
it.
And I got a number saying that I was 300, and I punched the button as soon as I got the notification, and I'm 350,000 something on the waiting list.
Line. Right.
So tell me that we're half and half. Tell me that it's half the nation. That's bullshit. It's not half the nation.
What about the world, though? Let's look at the globe. I was reading, and I'm not in Canada. This might be a question for Jean-Claude. That a lot of the Canadians really want to keep things the way they are. They want Trudeau in. They don't want this freedom. They oppose the truckers. Now, that could be propaganda. I have no idea, Lisa. We're not there. We don't know. But
sorry, I just got removed on one of our streams.
oh, for which one?
Oops, Odyssey just removed us.
Oh, well, good. We're doing
But
our
that's
job.
really surprising me because they are. We'll remove it and we'll re-add it because they're pretty.
So what I wanted to
surprises me.
just bring up, you guys, while we're talking about money and freezing bank accounts and all that stuff. There's a lot of talk right now that there's a lot of bills. I know there's one in Arizona. They've got one in California. They're opening them up where the local government and the state level government is saying they want to bring in crypto and Bitcoin as legal tender. So I thought to myself,
There's several other states.
several other states,
well.
right? Like 33 of them or something. So I thought, okay, so like, what does that mean? Like, what's the difference between, does that mean like you go and pay in crypto, or does that mean they'll just happily take your crypto for a tax bill? So Lisa, I punched up Investopedia, the definition of fiat money versus legal tender. What's the difference? And what I got from this definition is basically, it's very interesting. Fiat money has no intrinsic value, while legal tender is any currency declared legal by a government. So if they make, let's just say, Bitcoin legal tender, that means that it is now a form of currency, and that opens all kinds of different tax ramifications. So that's very interesting. Number two, governments can
wait. I have to add on this. So there's an epic video. Sean and I did this video. Well, it was last Tuesday, and he shared this video of Jon Stewart, and it wasn't Powell. It was Thomas, the Thomas guy, one of the former Fed guys talking, and they're having this conversation about like, and Jon Stewart has this epiphany. He's like, wait, so explain to me what fiat is. And he says, fiat means the word fiat means it's the belief of, it's the fiduciary. It's backed by fiduciary, which means the belief of value.
The faith and confidence.
The faith and confidence that it has value. He goes, you're kidding me. He's like, so you're just saying that I have to trust you in this? And he like you can see this light bulb moment, and he's literally blown away by it. So if you guys haven't watched that last week's Tuesday show with Satoshi Sean and I, that has that video clip, it's hilarious. But that is literally what fiat means. It means that literally fiat means that it's backed by nothing, by your trust.
Right. So Bix talks about this, that the fiat is Federal Reserve note is a promissory note, and it's backed only by the faith and confidence of, well, basically the U.S. military. But what's interesting is I've been telling people lately, save your coinage, because as Bix points out, this is a U.S. Treasury. The coinage is real money. So, if you've
I don't think they asked the military.
Yeah,
I don't think they asked the military's position.
Yeah, it's supposed to be backed by the faith and confidence and backed by the U.S. military. I mean, in a perfect world, but nothing is perfect anymore. But for those of you that have those old water bottles filled with nickels and dimes and pennies, don't go run that through one of those coin machines and get fiat. The fiat are promissory notes. It's garbage. It's garbage. And Lisa, I want you to show. This blew my mind. Right. Let me get to this. So this is about, you're going to start to hear a lot about legal tender versus fiat. So we'll need to explore that a little bit more, Lisa, as it starts to come down. I want you to go to slide 5. We're going to skip over something.
That's okay.
And it said inflation fee. I saw this. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. this is a picture. Someone took a picture of a receipt in a restaurant. And I couldn't believe this. This is a macaroni and grill.
Oh,
And this,
I think I've seen this.
yeah. And they're charging, Lisa, if you pull this up, they are now adding onto bills at restaurant. It's called temporary inflation fee.
Mhm.
And in this case, this was a $17 bill, but the temporary inflation, here we go. You can see it right there.
Yeah.
It's $2 extra. What is that about? I mean, hello? Like they just start adding on money because things cost more?
Temporarily. And
Yeah,
you know
right.
how well that's gone in the history of America.
Right.
Just
Oh, it's only
temporary.
temporary. Right.
That, income tax.
Mhm.
What else has been temporary for us? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Department of Homeland Security after 9/11 was supposed to
Yeah, that
be,
was temporary.
that was temporary.
IRS,
Oh, income
dealership.
taxes were
Yeah.
temporary.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All that
So,
was temporary.
you guys, if you see this temporary inflation fee, this is
I mean, the Fed itself was temporary.
the Fed was supposed to be temporary.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that this is really getting my attention. This inflation thing, and of course, Jerome Powell comes out like a month ago and says, "Oh, inflation is transitory," and we all know that that's BS. What really bothers me is the lies, and this is for the normies. The normies believe the lies. So when you're functioning out in the world with normies, you've got to understand their mindset is totally skewed by lies. And because of normalcy bias, and their egos won't allow them to be wrong, because if they're wrong about this, they're going to have to go back through everything in their life that they were lied to about and unravel that. And that's a head fake of the first order. So this is a really big deal.
The
Now,
encouraging thing is, I think a lot of people are starting to see things because of this blatant, these kind of things.
right.
But a lot of them are still at least 6 to 12 months behind. So it's
Right.
really hard, like when they're like, hey, what about this? And you're like, uh-huh, and like and that's why like I got the SWAT on my hand and putting time out there like this. And he's like, Lisa,
breathe.
we're not there yet.
Right.
Everyone, like people need to see things in their own time.
Yes. Yeah, they do. They do.
And I don't think I'm right. I don't think anyone that thinks they see what's going on right now, I don't think anybody telling you what's going on right now is right.
Correct.
Because
I agree.
I'm telling you, whatever you're seeing right now, everyone is being misled.
I agree.
I can tell you,
100%.
I'm not right. Everybody I watch that I trust and love and believe right now is not right. But everybody is like, we all know something's wrong is what
Right.
that's the only thing we're right about right now.
Right.
That's what I would say.
I, Lisa, have agreed with you on this. We're all mostly wrong, and maybe certain of us are a little bit right, but none of us know anything. But what's really interesting, and this allows us to end with 2 more slides. I think these are really important.
I'll talk now. It's so late. I'll talk to you all night, and I've been like, I had such a rough day. This is like a great positive thing. Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about Mr. Klaus Schwab.
Oh,
he is the
disgusting animal.
Overlord of the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum, which congregates once a year at Davos.
Here's the exciting thing is, you used to not be able to hear his name. You used to never hear Schwab. You used to never hear Soros. We're hearing their names now.
Oh, and we're seeing their little bodies on the beach.
Ugly faces in their superhero uniform. They have to be the most poorly dressed people. Like,
they're
they
just
get
awful,
like
Lisa.
The walk of shame for the red carpet, I have to tell you.
There is a slide I sent you.
6, Klaus Schwab.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is from 2017.
Oh, Lord. That's terrible.
I want
Okay,
you
I
to
have
read.
to do a little dance on this one because I have to like download it and then upload it. And
Okay.
give me just a second.
Okay. So this was a quote by Klaus Schwab with his really gross picture.
Mhm.
And he says,
That's awful.
we are very proud of, what we are very proud of is that we penetrate the global cabinets of countries with our WEF young global leaders like Trudeau.
Now, so I shared multiple videos of this on Twitter where he said this in video and then went on to list other people. Yeah, I've shared this in multiple
Right. So they're
formats on
all,
Twitter.
so I'm telling you, in my opinion, when I see these quote unquote Canadian militia, let's just call them that for lack of a better word. Yeah, I'm sure there's some Canadian cops there. I get the feeling that there's implants. These guys here, we're talking about the Soroses, that Klaus Schwab, the globalist elites are implanting to make it look a certain way to the world. That
Well,
is not.
remember that was it, gosh, and my sense of time is really skewed because of the vid and all that. So I apologize. But do you remember when we were being warned about the exercise trainings on the border with, was it UN or NATO? It wasn't NATO, it was UN exercise. Remember the Canadian border? You don't remember that?
Are you talking about the truckers?
The CCP? No, there were
Oh,
CCP that were doing trainings, or it was CCP or UN or NATO.
oh, the UN arrived
Was
in
it
Canada.
UN
Yeah,
in
they
Canada?
came
And
in.
they were
Yes,
doing like training exercises
right.
at
That was
the
bullshit.
Canadian border. And I was
Mhm.
like, that seems weird.
Yeah, no.
And now magically there's all these green helmet guys
Hmm.
who Jean Claude's there and he's like, they don't say a word and they don't know the area.
Right,
He's down there walking around.
right.
They're like, we ain't from around here, which is in Oklahoma. That's what
Yeah,
you ain't from around here.
right. And I have to really, really thank Jean-Claude for his work that he's doing.
Yeah,
It's
it's pretty
it is
incredible. If you guys
it's
aren't watching those live streams, go back and watch. He's been doing some like on the ground reporting kind of stuff.
right. And I have been absolutely amazed at the work and the details that he's getting out, and I really thank him for that
And
because
Janine, her
I know
intuition,
she's
I
amazing.
get okay, and she doesn't get her hand slapped by Uncle Cliff, but I have to say, good job, Janine.
Well, Lisa, what do they
Raised
say?
my
Parents
sister.
always discipline the children they love the most the hardest.
I know, it's okay.
All right, I want to talk
I
a
accept.
bit here. I want to go on about our little friend Schwab.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is the dossier. Schwab wrote a book. Okay. Now, in the occult world, of which the elites are really, 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 really into,
Which?
it is, Lisa. The next one, it's slide 8, and it
Okay.
says a Substack mission.
Got it.
Okay, perfect. In the occult world, the elites are really into the occult. They're into numerology. They're into all of this. This is part of their satanic, ritualistic, sick behavior. Okay. But there's a thing called sigil magic, and sigil magic is hidden in plain sight. And this is what's been going on since time immemorial. They show you, they telegraph things before they do it. Lisa, you and I, this is not news to you. We've spoken about this on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I came across this thing called the dossier. And this is a book that Klaus Schwab has just written. I just want to read 2 tiny paragraphs at it. This person is writing a review of the book. Okay. That's what this article is from the dossier. What's really interesting is I'm going to read paragraph 3 and 4, because this is a demonstration of sigil magic. They're telling you, Klaus Schwab is telling you, he's telling you what they're going to do. They always do this. When you hear this, first of all, at first it kind of takes your breath away because his terminology, the words he uses, words carry such great weight when you're talking about manifestation and the occult. You can literally talk things into existence. So when he speaks, these people understand the power of their words. These are not stupid people, immoral, very mentally deranged, sick, possibly not even human, yes, but they're not stupid. So in this article, I'm going to quote him, and this is in regards to his book, which he just recently wrote. According to Schwab, the world must be rapidly transformed. Now, note the word rapidly transformed according to the designs of a technocratic elite. Note the word technocratic elite. And we, meaning the elite, must adopt the ideas and policy preferences of 50 hand-picked narrators interviewed for the book, who he describes as global thinkers and public intellectuals. Okay, let's stop right here. Schwab is saying that they are picking the people that are going to think for us and determine how our world goes because they're the elite. Schwab describes the great narrative, I think that's the name of his book, as a book that goes beyond the realm of theory, serving as a call to action. In this book, okay, and this goes on and talks about the reviewer's opinion of Schwab and what he's doing. It's an interesting little article. Mm-hmm. But what caught my attention here is the words, how they're choosing the intellectuals. They use these words like thinkers, global elite. We're going to choose for you. This is the sigil magic. This is the hidden in plain sight. This is them telling us what their plans are. So in my mind's eye, if you know this and you understand that under God, we are sovereign individuals, they can't touch us.
Amy, look at this. When you said this, it says, according to Schwab, the enemies of this include nationalists, populists, individualists, and those who support free markets.
Yeah.
That's us, guys.
That's us, guys, right? They're coming for us. And it's Australia first, Canada. This is just, they're making their way.
Schwab cannot hide his disdain for those rogue actors who he notes with disgust are largely located in the United States.
There you go. There you go.
Wow.
This is the head of the World Economic Forum. He is up there. These are the puppet masters pulling the strings. This is who these people are. They've told us now, this is the roadmap. When you're in war, when you know the plan of the enemy is the only way that you can plan your course of action. We are in a spiritual war. We are. And I'm actually glad to know this because it's so in your face. And this is so not what God had in mind for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. And I do believe that we have all kinds of light coming to the earth. But what I want you guys to know is that it's going to be a bit of a ride. It's going to be a bit of a ride. These people are not going to go down without a fight. And they've got resources. They're smart. They're not ethical. They're not moral. These are not high-minded people. Their energy vibration is very low, by the way. And let me tell you something from a quantum physics spiritual point of view. Humans that vibrate higher, than humans that vibrate lower. Like if you're deeply grieving, when I was grieving the loss of my son, my vibrational constitution was so low. People that read auric fields could see my auric field was ripped. It was ripped because I was in so much grief that my energy field was sagging down. That is not a powerful person. That's not coming from a position of strength. I wasn't supposed to be because I was grieving, but get this.
Right.
These guys are vibrating low. If we can keep coming back to love, what our mission is, why we're here, relying on our community, knowing that God is going to illuminate our path, we're going to vibrate higher and therefore become more powerful. That is the quantum law. That's not Amy's little story. That is talked about in the Bible.
Amy, but I think that's the power of us coming together globally, and that's where the patriotism of the world, we're more together. That's where when Trump
Then
does
we're powerful.
USMCA, like Canada, America, oh, you're going to take our avocados from us? Now we love Mexico too.
Yes. And now America's really bonded with Canada.
Yes, America's really bonded with Canada.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to spread even more with more and more, you can change the word. Maybe we change it to patriotism for a while.
Sure.
Maybe we call it freedom for a while. Maybe we call it, but ultimately it's
our God-given right.
Our God-given rights. And maybe it comes back to Magna Carta. Maybe it goes to Constitution. Maybe it goes to Magna Carta. Maybe it goes to God-given rights. And maybe we understand who our creator is, and we stop calling it something that's bound to religion.
Correct.
Maybe we're freed from religion and what we've been taught here on this earth, and we understand that it's from our creator and it's our creator's given rights, and that we are all connected through our creator, and that's our strength, and that we're stronger than that.
Yes,
together.
And I agree with you. That to me is it in a nutshell. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And that's why we really need each other now.
Yeah.
And people are making new friends. Their countries are creating more allies. I love what's going on in El Salvador.
Yeah.
I love the Canadians for what I have a whole new vision of Canada I've never had.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty. And I'm going to tell you.
In Australia. I mean, my heart, my sweet friend Solrita, like I've had a connection with her since the first time I saw her on John Claude's channel. Charlie and I had a reading with her. I've had a reading with her. Now I've gone on her channel. I'm going to have her on my channel. And I feel this draw to her. And she was like, I feel the same thing with you. I don't know what it is. When I was a little girl, I had this weird draw to Australia. And I wonder, like, do other people have that thing? Like, do you have this draw? I've also always wanted to go to Africa.
Usually that means, Lisa, just it's been my experience is you've had past lives there. If you feel a draw to a certain part, like I have a draw to Egypt. And
interesting.
I have several past lives in Egypt. So usually when you have a draw, that's why I like Arizona. I like the desert because it's indigenous to my past lives. So you probably had some very significant past lives.
So I'm like that with like Ireland, Australia, and Africa, which is kind of bizarre, but yeah.
Past lives, I'm guessing.
I'm just guessing. Past lives, yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Oh, it's so interesting. And I think for you guys right now, I know we're going over an hour, but I just want you all to know that I know this is a very, very heavy time. The energy is very heavy and very dark. Because I'm so empathic, I can feel it. Like some days I wake up and I have a hard time breathing because it's just the energy is dense and dark. And what I really has been helping me is I do meditations with crystals. I do basic light work, but just getting out and taking a walk in the sunlight. Sometimes just shutting off all the, having an afternoon with no phones and no this and no that, and just breathing some air. And I'm telling you, it rejuvenates the spirit. We need to take care of ourselves right now. the elites are scared shitless. They will never admit it, but they're scared shitless. But let me tell you this, they are not going to go down without the fight of their lives. And this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And they are going to fight till their death.
I think that's a great point, Amy. And when you feel like the world is coming at you and you have to answer that email, or you have to answer that phone, it's been going on for forever. Put it down, go outside.
Yes.
Take your shoes off unless it's really cold outside. But, experience nature and take that minute to get yourself right and your energy right, and talk to God, the creator. And you are not beholden to them. You're responsible to be right with yourself and with God and with your energy, not.
And that's how we're going to win. That's how we're going to win. Because they're scared of the light. They're scared to death of it because they're so dark. And that's the only way that we're going to win this. And I do agree we have won. But for us mortals here, we have to walk through it. And it's going to be a ride, guys, so buckle up.
What an exciting time to be alive, though. Like, there are things happening for people to say, oh, there's nothing happening. Credit Suisse Bank, guys. Credit Suisse Bank.
Right.
Stuff is happening. And then they were saying that they're putting the fence back up around the Capitol for Sleepy Joe's State of the Union, which maybe we can check in or do an update on that. Maybe you can do a special report for us.
Okay.
I don't know. Before.
Yeah,
I know we do every other week, but if something
comes up, yeah. Right. If something
really, like, there's been like a concrete wall for
it's very
now, so I'm very
confused about and what's up with the stage all the time? Why isn't he at the White House? I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm getting some really mixed messages. I'm not really understanding what's going on with that. But anyway, we'll check in with everybody later. Thank you to everybody who met us later tonight. I appreciate it. We had a little family crisis here, but we're all good, and we're grateful for everybody here celebrating Nana's birthday, and everybody that can send her lots of love today and well wishes. Go find her at Crypto Nana 4 LTC. Send her a little message on Twitter and tell her you're thinking of her and wish her well on her birthday. We would appreciate that. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much, Amy. Appreciate you as always.
All right, you guys, be well.